Mecha Break scratches a very specific kind of itch, the kind that drives someone to seek perfection in their multiplayer games, the perfect shot, the clutch dodge, confirming the last kill that wins you the match. When things come together just the way you need them to, man, it's something special. This is the type of game that has you shouting, "Did you see that shot?" mid-match, planning a strategy pre-game, and gassing up your friends when they win MVP, where you're celebrating your wins and trying to figure out your losses. It pulls you in, and there's a reason for that. It's really dang good.
I'm trying. I'm flying back in right now.
Assist. I was hoping you'd last longer.
Mecha Break kicks things off with a fairly detailed character creator full of conventionally beautiful people and some light story to set the stage and then immediately forget about. It's cool to walk around your base and do things like see your legally distinct Gundam, called Break Striker, up close, or watch your character take a steamy shower for some reason if you're into that. But I'm here for the violence, so I spent most of my time in the 3 modes Mecha Break has for you to get your mech killing on in. The weakest of the 3, Operation Storm, is an extraction shooter. You or a 3-man mech team drop into a map called Mashmak with one goal: take everything you can and get out of there while the getting's good. That generally means killing computer-controlled enemies and opening chests scattered across the map. Standard extraction shooter stuff. Survive long enough for an exit point to appear and you'll get to keep everything. Die, and you lose it. And of course there are other players and teams looking to take you out and steal your things. The mode is fine. Mashmak is huge, so traveling across it takes a while in most Break Strikers, and fighting the initial CPU enemies is dull. Unless you're willing to stay a while so the challenging stuff shows up, or go looking for a scrap with other mechs you're hoping to turn into scrap metal, it just isn't all that interesting. Yeah, it's neat that you can call in supplies and find new weapons, but your starting kits are already pretty strong. New stuff helps, but the central appeal of an extraction shooter is that you can both get stuff and lose it. And since you can't really lose any of your core strikers, I don't know if this idea works here, because your base build is never going to be bad. That means the overall risk is pretty low, so I had a hard time getting invested. The 6v6 mode, called Operation Verge, on the other hand, is where I spent the majority of my time. Once you squad up, you choose from one of the 15 different mechs available, only 3 of which need to be unlocked. Mecha Break has every kind of mech you could want: heavies like the Stego, with the ability to plant itself in the ground and launch a massive missile barrage; the Falcon, which transforms into a plane, Starscream style, letting you rain death from above; the all-powerful in the right hands Aquila, whose sniper rifle and ability to hover above the fray make it a must for most maps; and my personal favorite, the Elysinus, a medium-weight, more traditional mech that becomes smaller and more agile after its armor is blown off. Survive long enough in this form, and you can reapply your armor like some kind of mech-flavored magical girl. There are support mechs for healing and shielding your friends, melee mechs for getting up close and personal, and so on. Picking the right one is important because once you're locked in and the match starts, you're stuck with it. There's also no customization options beyond cosmetic stuff in Operation Verge. 2 teams enter, 1 team leaves victorious, and then you're on to the next one. That's how it should be. Everything in Mecha Break feels amazing too, whether you're flying a Falcon or slamming into somebody with the Panther Spear. And when you land that awesome kill and get the execution animation, oh baby. You can build memorable moments and rivalries in real time. And the fights were all exciting, whether I won or lost. The other cool thing Mecha Break does is marry its maps to how you'll play them. The multi-level industrial Graceland Sky City only offers traditional deathmatch. First to 8 kills wins, best 2 out of 3. As does the Babylon Sky Fortress. The waterlogged Poseidon Armory sports a King of the Hill-esque data retrieval mode, where you have to capture and hold points to win, as does my beloved Krab Sinkhole. Eye of Mizra and Vigil Imbrium ask you to capture launch keys and upload them to a nearby turret, while Longman Satellite Site and Palm Bay Harbor queue up good old-fashioned payload escorts. The maps themselves are a smorgasbord of interesting locations, too. Stella Observatory Island is a combination mountain range with a valley and a destroyed city. I could sit up and snipe at other mechs from the high ground with the stego, but to get the objectives and stay in the fights over them, I needed to head down where I was more vulnerable. Meanwhile, Vigil Imbrium is set on a crater-covered moon that includes both open skies and small canyons just big enough to squeeze through, ideal for dodging enemy fire and moving around out of sight. The Aquila is an absolute monster here, but a well-piloted Falcon or Panther can straight up roll the other team if you're not careful. By far my favorite map in Operation Verge is Crowd Sinkhole, a King of the Hill style map with 3 points, all placed in very different areas. Any team composition can work well here if you play it right, and I've had fun and been able to make plays on it no matter what I was piloting. I don't think there are any bad maps in Mecha Break, but my least favorite maps are built on Team Deathmatch, which I never thought I'd say. Dealing with objectives means more focus on team comps, communication, and clutch plays. You've got to work together, and that's where the good stuff lives. My squad's pre-match discussions were about what mechs we should have, who should play them, and what our strategy should be. In-game teamwork is just as crucial. We were calling out targets, coordinating who was going where, and pinging each other for help. That's the best way to play Mecha Break, and it's led my team to a 70% win rate. Are certain mechs stronger than others? Yeah, Aquila, Welkin, Narukami, and the unlockable melee and stealth-focused Stellaris can all run you over if you let them. But if you coordinate properly, they'll die real fast. I spent a lot of time talking about Operation Verge, Mecha Break's best mode, but Ace Arena, a 3v3 mode, is also pretty slick. There are only 4 maps, one of which has a cool environmental hazard in the form of test-firing rocket engines that you don't want to stand behind, but it's a good time, and I appreciate that you can switch mechs when you die, something you can't do in Operation Verge. When I took part of my Operation Verge team into Ace Arena for the first time, we smoked the other team 8-0, so, you know, transferable skills. Mecha Break also has a training mode where you can practice against various enemies, tutorials and challenges for each of the 15 mechs, and custom rooms if you just want to play with friends and not venture into casual or matchmaking. Okay, now for the boring stuff. There is a real money auction house you can sell things in, whether it's a character customization item, paint, or stuff to equip your mech with in Mashmak. Most prices are pretty reasonable, but the rare stuff is very expensive. I mostly don't care about this because I generally don't care about cosmetics, and I'm not interested in playing any more Operation Storm. It does make the extraction mode somewhat pay to win, but the competitive integrity of Ace Arena and Operation Verge is fully intact. And there's plenty of stuff you can only unlock with in-game currency, which is handed out fairly generously if you just play and do missions, which are basic things like do X things Y times with Z Striker. You'll also earn it through various progression systems like the Rally Orders, which you get by teaming up with friends and completing challenges, or stuff like Christian's Challenge, which puts you in a scoring race against a story character. All of this stuff is free, and of course there are login bonuses, match bonuses, and so on. If there's a real issue with Mecha Break's monetization, it's the stuff that the developer Amazing Seasun Games is selling directly. Paying $22 for one of the locked mechs and a ton of in-game currency bonuses is whatever if you don't want to take the time to unlock it yourself. What's wild are the prices on the cosmetic Ace pilots. You can recruit Falcon pilot Leone Ferve, her custom Falcon, and 3 character-specific boarding, execution, and MVP animations for the low price of $47.99, which is frankly outrageous. Listen, I get it. Mecha Break is a really gorgeous video game, everyone's hot, and anime waifu stonks are through the roof, but nearly $50 for 3 animations, a character model, and a custom mech design is nasty work. Mecha Break does give you a decent amount of stuff for in-game currency, and frankly, I'm not sure that I care about monetization in a game like this anyway. If you really want to go crazy customizing your character or buy that shiny new pilot and her mech, you'll have to pony up. Otherwise, you can unlock paints and patterns for your mechs for free at a reasonable pace. And let's face it, unless you're somebody who is playing the shower sequence on repeat, that's probably what you're going to spend most of your time looking at anyway. I'm here for the gameplay, and those extras don't drag down how much that part rules. Mecha Break's strategic, twitchy gameplay has its hooks in me. The 15 flavors of mechs all feel great to pilot, and I dig the maps in Operation Verge and Ace Arena. I'm not over the moon about Operation Storm, and I think the monetization is simultaneously fine in some places and potentially predatory in others. But I'm here for the 6v6 and 3v3 modes. That stuff is for PvP sickos. I've come away liking the little moments, the stories my group has been a part of. If Mecha Break plays it smart, I think it has the juice to last for a long haul, and I know my crew will be hitting me up for matches for the foreseeable future. We're still chasing those moments of perfection, those stories. Sometimes we'll get there, sometimes we won't. But the perfect match is out there, and I'll be damned if I'm not going to try to find it.
Amateur.
For more, check out our reviews of FBC, Firebreak, or Death Stranding 2 on the beach. And for everything else in hot mech action, keep it here at IGN.